okay, and the other I had to pay. I'm not sure their system.
Okay, but Boston Transportation Department doesn't, there's not a unilateral system where if a teacher gets a parking ticket that it's just eliminated?
No, it's not.
No, okay.
And it was a recommendation we've had
Yeah.
in the past, if those teachers in the building, if their tickets could be waived, but no, that's not something that ever happened.
Okay. I would think under situations where a teacher especially is trying to get into the building to care for a student, you know, a student with disability or a student in need, machine that enables people to, teachers to park in certain areas without getting a ticket. That's my overall plan and goal as the chair of this committee that actually oversees parking. So this issue is going to stay right here in the City Services Committee, because that's where this issue belongs, right here. Yeah, so I did at the beginning mention that I wanted to go through 2 rounds, but before I do that, I do want to ask if there's any public testimony, if anyone is in this Ionella chamber that wants to testify, or if anyone is on Zoom that wants to testify and offer their opinion. Shane Pack?
Yep, we have one person on Zoom.
One person is on Zoom. Shane, do you know what that person's name is?
Nancy Gasto.
Nancy. Okay, do you want to let Nancy in to testify? Okay. Hi, Nancy. This is Ed Flynn, the chair of the committee. You're on with Erin Murphy and Johnny from the Boston Teachers Union.
Okay, my name is Nancy, and I kind of want to, make a response to what I've heard and add some information. I think that I'm concerned about the equitable treatment of people in Boston, because you're giving priority over, different segments of society. And I don't think that, I think public streets and ways have to be available to everyone. And I know how important it is to be a teacher. I have my own, what I call a business project. I do teach myself, but I'm more concerned about, from an equitable standpoint, how do you, decipher, who should get passes and who shouldn't. I think that parking is a real problem, and I think that you have to. Public transportation was brought up. I think that you need to incent, and I think the city of Boston and transportation do have a way to incent people with lower incomes to use public transportation. So transportation and using highways is a big problem. And I think that encouraging people to use public transportation should be at the top of the list of what to address. Secondly, I live near a school, and they want us out at 6 a.m. Now, if I'm studying till 2 a.m. and I have to get up at 6 a.m. to move my car when I damn well know, sorry for the use of words, strike that lot isn't really used till 7 or 8 a.m. for teachers or administrators. So I think that that needs to be addressed a little bit more, or in a better way. We also have in this same neighborhood a problem with, commercial people saving spaces with, orange cones. The school last Friday saved one of their own spaces for a blue cone.
Nancy, could you finish up in the next 10 seconds?
And then I think that the snow problem is also a root of the problem for Boston to address. And I'm not sure waiving tickets for some people and not others is an equitable solution. I have had to, do an online appeal and also have gone in, and the appeals department never follows the same rules. Thank you for your time.
Nancy, thank you for your testimony. If you need to reach out to me directly, I can give you my email. It's ed.flynn@boston.gov. I'm the chair of the committee. If you have some questions, further questions, if you want to write them down, I'll get a response to you. But thank you for your testimony. Want to go to Councilor Murphy. I want to give every councilor that is here 5 minutes, a reduction in 1 minute from the previous round. Councilor Murphy, you're up.
Thank you. I want to read a letter that Amelia Capone sent to Boston Public School leaders, and I'm not sure if you saw this letter that went out. And she was one of the panelists from the administration, who is the Director of Parking and Curbside Management. Dear Boston Public School leaders, we at the Office of Parking Clerk, OPC, and the Boston Transportation Department, BTD, appreciate the very real challenges that educators face when it comes to parking. We recognize that reliable access is important, particularly given the demands placed on teachers and school staff. At the same time, our office is not able to provide exemptions to parking regulations that are designed to ensure public curbside infrastructure is shared equitably among all Boston residents, workers, and visitors. These rules must be applied consistently to balance access, safety, and fairness across many competing needs citywide. For example, maintaining turnover in regulated public parking spaces, especially in and near business districts, is vital to ensuring availability for residents who rely on vehicles for access to critical services and to patronage our city's small businesses. Starting on February 1st, 2026, we will no longer dismiss parking violations validly issued to vehicles of BPS or school staff. In addition, any school-specific placard or historical exemptions will no longer be recognized. If you have any concerns on whether a placard you've received is valid and will be recognized by parking enforcement, please reach out to Isabel Gretschel to confirm. All drivers must respect and park accordingly to signed curbside regulations, whether they are resident parking only spaces, time-bound restrictions, or metered parking. We remain open to continuing the conversation about broader policy-aligned solutions or alternative strategies that may help educators within the existing framework, and we value our ongoing partnership. Best regards, Amelia Capone. So that seems to have gone out to educate leaders, I guess, in January. It's telling all, making sure they told their staff that starting February 1st, they're no longer going to be waiving fees or accommodating any teachers, and I'm not sure if you knew that or if...
I did not.
Yeah, so
think the
it must
president
be
knew that
true
either.
that the Transportation Department is being told now that if any teacher is trying to, you know, waive their ticket or appeal it, that they're going to automatically be denied. And unfortunately, all our colleagues aren't here right now to hear that, because many of them were saying that that is something that they hoped and that we could encourage maybe more teachers to appeal their tickets. But it seems as though the Transportation Department and the Office of the Parking Clerk and the administration has already made a very firm opinion on this. So I just wanted to make sure I read that into the record.
Councilor Murphy, what was the effective date of that?
February 1st, 2026.
Okay, so
And it was sent to all BPS school leaders, at least that's who Amelia addressed the letter to. Someone